Hey, what's up, YouTube famo? In most of my videos, I try to be pretty upbeat. This one, I'm not going to be too upbeat. I'm going to try to tell you what I believe the truth to be. And it's about the Epstein files. And then you got to wonder, why is Trump not doing the Epstein files? Is Trump on the Epstein list? And everyone's coming up with maybe he's using it now to blackmail other countries and all this and that. Epstein working for Mossad and Trump being a slave to the Jews and all this stuff. I don't think any of that is really correct. This is what I think it really is, okay? Now take a look, you're in Trump's position. What's Trump's number one priority? Get shit done, his agenda pushed forward. What does he need to do that? First, he wants to bring about world peace. So he's going to end the wars. He's going to start putting pressure on other countries with tariffs. He needs them to cooperate. He needs to push on Russia and Ukraine with tariffs and negotiations and this and that. He needs them to kind of cooperate in good faith. So he needs them to do that, have a good working relationship with them. Also, on top of that, if you forget about it, easy to forget because no one wants to talk about it, the American dollar is still under threat from BRICS. And some of the YouTube videos I've seen said that Venezuela was talking about signing on, and that would have been the beginning of BRICS entry into like more of the smaller countries in South America or something like that. Like if Venezuela has taken on BRICS, then a bunch of other countries are ready to follow suit. So while we're talking about narco-terrorists, the real reason is that Trump needs to fucking stop that BRICS shit right now because it is a threat to our currency dominance. And if we lose that currency dominance, then we absolutely, our economy collapses. Plus, there's the debt. The debt is just monstrous. I don't think Trump can get us out of debt. I don't think Trump can do it. You could, and before you say, well, we should have voted Harris, I definitely don't think Harris could have done it. This debt is too much, and I think it's going to really be a problem. Trump's trying, I believe if Harris was elected, she would probably try. No president wants the country to collapse under their administration, but I believe he's trying to stop the economic collapse from the crushing weight of the deficit and the debt. But you got that. You're trying to stop BRICS, other countries from signing on the BRICS. You're trying to get these new trade deals with the other countries on the planet, working with Saudi Arabia, trying to get Saudi Arabia to not buy weapons from China and Russia and to buy their weapons from us. And our relationship with that is funny because it's billions of dollars, and Biden refused to sell to Saudi Arabia, who's actively fighting against the Houthi rebels, who apparently are our enemies. So why the hell wouldn't we make money, sell them the weapons, then they fight our enemies? Why would that be bad? You got all this and that. It's a lot that's on the president's plate right now. And then you got the Epstein files. In order to pass legislation, he needs cooperation from Congress and the Supreme Court, the House of Representatives, the Senate. He needs his cabinet to be involved with it. So now, the Epstein's files drops on his lap. He looks through it, and it's everybody. He just realizes he's in a room filled with pedophiles. That's got to be very disturbing. You're like, all of you? And most he can't just fire. If he found out that Chuck Schumer was on the Epstein list on the actual island and he had footage of him with a minor, he can't just fire Chuck Schumer. What if he found that out about Mitch McConnell? You can't just fire Mitch McConnell. And on top of that, you can forget about Mitch McConnell cooperating with any of Trump's legislation. Now, if Trump just drops the list, gives us the list, now some people are saying give us everything. Of course, that's stupid because you don't want to just drop thousands of hours of child porn on the internet. That's, no, unacceptable. That's not going to happen. This should not happen. But people want the names. They want the writing. They want us to look through the videos, verify who it is. If you drop that massive, massive list, number one, you can find that a load of Democrats and a load of Republicans in Congress are on the list. And who votes to get these people fired? Themselves. So you can imagine every single person who is on that list who gets put up for impeachment, the impeachment will fail because in order to get impeached and have it succeed, they need the votes from all the other pedophiles that are filled with that fill Congress. And they're not going to vote to have someone fired for that. They're just going to say, yeah, all of us are cleared, Trump. And now your agenda, you're not passing any more laws. And then everyone gets, the population gets furious. But it doesn't matter because Congress is not, they're just going to push it under the rug. They're just going to push it under a rug, pay a couple victims some money out of our tax dollars, and no one's going to be held accountable. And then Trump's agenda also is absolutely demolished. Do you think Trump wants that? Whether you want it or not doesn't matter. Trump is the president. He wants it. In order to push it, he needs Congress. What if he took away all of his cooperation? And in the first year of his term, in the first year, now, when he has the Senate, he has the House, now all of a sudden nothing's getting passed. He's going to be an absolute nothing president. You think Trump wants that? Absolutely not. Now consider you go to Saudi Arabia, say, don't buy from China, don't buy from Russia, you buy from us. Wait, bin Salman's on the list. You think and you just released it. Do you think he's going to want to cooperate with us now? Hell no, he's going to buy from Putin and Xi Jinping, who are also on the list and now hate us. So now we have to go over to Europe, which is loaded with leaders that are also on the list, and we all just put them on blast. Now all of a sudden, every single country on the planet hates our guts. You think they care about American dollar dominance? They're going to be passing legislation to screw us real hard. And look, America's the superpower of the world right now, but that's because we hold all the cards. That doesn't mean because we hold the entire deck. We just have the most cards. We have the strongest hand. So now you can expect all the countries refusing to cooperate with us, actively working against us. They may hate each other, but they hate America more because all of their leaders are now put on blast. Trump needs to defend this country against hostile enemies, which has now become the entire planet, because now you just put all the leaders on blast. So now they all hate us, and he needs Congress to cooperate. No, they all hate Trump. Guess who's getting impeached now? Trump. For anything. They will quickly put J.D. Vance on that list, and they'll tell J.D., you want to be president? Shut up. Or else we're going to make you president, and you're going to be impeached too, because everyone's in on it. How bad is it? If it is that bad, here's the part that's rough. Would it be smart to release it and everyone's going off moral authority? Yes, we need to release it. Release it to everyone. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And that's just the reality of the situation. Because now the pedophile elites, they have all the cards. They have the entire deck. And you're going to go against them, and then it's going to be swept under the rug, and your head's going to get chopped off. And then they're going to bring in the next guy and say, wow, look at how great he is. And you're going to be forgotten because the U.S. population, not everyone, but the population in general, is a bunch of idiots. It is. This country's loaded to the gills with idiots that don't think any further than, 10 steps ahead. They don't even think 10 steps ahead. When I was in prison, I seen a guy, and I don't want to say his name, but he strong dude, strong. And he sat there during COVID watching TV, and they started talking about all the deaths and all the people that are sick, and how the hospital beds are filled up. And he started ranting and raving. Why don't they just shut down these businesses? Why are you letting all these people have to go to work and get infected? This is ridiculous. I heard that. The very next story, they started explaining about how there's a shortage of chicken, a shortage of eggs. Tyson's shut down. All these different companies that provide our food are shut down. And this guy goes, why don't they just let these people make our food? The government's so incompetent. I sat there and just watched as he just argued in direct opposition to the point that he made literally 10 seconds earlier. And he didn't even think about it. Didn't even think about it. Went to the next news article and started complaining about that. And I sat there like, holy smokes. This guy really used no practical thinking. None. He used zero practical thinking with what he saw. He just saw and he reacted, and that was it. It's like, oh my goodness. But anyway, guys, I think that's the end. That's the sad reality of the situation. In my opinion, that's my hypothesis. That's why I believe the Epstein list is not the real one. The real list, not just this flight log dumb shit. Everyone could be on the flight log, and there was really no point in releasing that. Everybody, I mean, I could have met the guy if Jeffrey Epstein bought me a hamburger and wrote it down. Then all of a sudden I'm implicated. You know, just because you met the guy at a party doesn't mean you're out there doing all that horrible shit. You know, but I guess the public wants things. Sure, the flight list, all right. It embarrassed a lot of people, but, you know, tell me the real information. Unfortunately, we're not going to get it. And in my opinion, that's why. That's why. Because at this point, we have let them get too powerful, too high ranking. They have all the cards. They have all the power. So how do we get out of that? How do we get out of that situation? I don't know. That's a hard one. Because when you think that it's possible, he just had everybody implicated. Everybody. That's crazy. That means things are just that bad. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is. But that's why I'm thinking, guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the bell button for notification. I got some other stuff coming up soon. 'Cause it's the weekend. This is the time when I start shooting videos. And on Monday, I start uploading them when I'm on the road. Later, Gators.